The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus heard of the death of John the Baptist, he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. The crowds heard of this and followed him on foot from their towns. When he disembarked and saw the vast crowds, his heart was moved with pity for them, and he cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples approached him and said, "This is a deserted place, and it's already late. Dismiss the crowd so that they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said to them, "There is no need for them to go away. Give them some food yourselves." But they said to him, 5 loaves and 2 fish are all we have." Then he said, "Bring them here to me." And he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he said the blessing, broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples, who in turn gave them to the crowds. They all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up the fragments left over, 12 wicker baskets full. Those who ate were about 5,000 men, not counting women and children. The Gospel of the Lord. Well, these are wonderful summer readings because they are so easy. You know, reading after reading from the first reading, it's just God inviting us to come to Him, and He will bless us with an abundance. He'll pour out His milk upon us. He'll feed us with finest grain. If we're hungry, He will feed us, and there's going to be satisfaction. We will be filled, and we will be satisfied. And yet, sometimes there's demands on us in life, and it seems like life can be too demanding, or God can be too demanding, or people in our lives can be too demanding, or our parents can be too demanding, or our spouses can be too demanding, or our kids can be too demanding. And sometimes we find that all we can do is go to God. And so one of my favorite summer songs I'm going to sing to you is "Lean on Me." And I need a few volunteers for this one, so I need actually pairs. So if I can have 3 or 4 pairs of you come forward and help me volunteer. I'm just going to give you some motions to do, and it's going to help everybody else kind of get more out of this song. So volunteers, come on up. Thank you. It's not going to be too bad. I'll walk you through it all. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3. We need one more group. How about if you guys stand right at the corners? Can you stand right up here at the corner? That's good. One more group. One more pair of 2. Come on up. That'd be so much better. All right, good. Thank you. All right, good. So all you got to do is for the chorus. The rest of the part you could just watch me or dance or whatever you want to do. But here's the chorus, okay? Lean on me. So how do you do that? Lean on your partner. I need a partner, actually. Somebody come up here and lean on me. Lean on me like that. Good. When you're not strong, show us your biggest muscle arms which way to the beach. Okay. I'll be your friend. Turn to your partner and high-five him. Got it? I'll help you carry on. And then this is kind of like the pun part. 4, 5. So 4, 5. So just 4, 5. Got it? It won't be long, and then you go too short and get short. Okay? Till I'm gonna need elbow. So like a little pun there, elbow. Somebody to lean on. Okay, got it? We'll try it once. Ready? Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. High five. I'll help you carry on. Raise that roof. 4, 5. It won't be long, too short till I'm gonna need elbow. Somebody to lean on. All right, that's good. I think we need a little bit of clapping though. Hey Carl, can you hit up some clapping for everybody? Follow Carl's lead, okay? Ready? Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we'll know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. High five. I'll help you carry on. Raise that roof. For it won't be long, too short till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill all of your needs that you don't let show. Here we go. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry. I'll raise that roof. 4, 5, it won't be long, too short till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long, too short. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Yeah, give them a round of applause. I love that the people in the cry room were doing that. That was awesome. Thank you. So, that's all we got to do is come to God and lean on Him. What I love about the gospel is, it's one of my favorites, the multiplication of the loaves, this miracle where Jesus feeds the 5,000 people. I actually got to be on that mountain in the Holy Land when we did our pilgrimage, and to be there where He fed these 5,000 people and worked that miracle. But what I love about it is He has this interaction with the disciples, okay? So Jesus, first of all, He's in a tough place Himself. He's going through a pretty tough time. So the gospel begins with the beheading of John the Baptist. His best friend, John the Baptist, who he grew up with, has been beheaded at another celebration, another party. He's been beheaded, and Jesus finds out about this news. And so he goes off on the boat by himself to a deserted place. He just wants to be alone. But guess what? The crowds are upset too. And the crowds are needy, and the people are anxious because of John the Baptist. And so they go and find Jesus in his deserted place. They won't leave him alone. Now Jesus, instead of getting upset and going further away on his boat or whatever, he actually comes back to the people, climbs up the mountain, gathers all these 5,000 around him, and he begins to teach them. And it's getting late, it's getting dark. So the disciples realized this, okay? And they said, Lord, it's getting late, and this is a deserted place. We better send these people home to their villages and let them go get something to eat themselves. And Jesus said to his disciples, why don't you feed them? And he puts them in this place of he's saying, why don't you feed them? And the disciples react much like we would. But Lord, I can't feed them. All I have are these 5 loaves and 2 fish. And so what does Jesus say to them then? Anybody know in the gospel? The disciples say, we can't do it. All we got are these 5 loaves and 2 fish. And Jesus says what? Bring them to me. Very good. Bring them to me. And so the disciples bring these 5 loaves and 2 fish to Jesus. He performs this miracle with these small gifts that he's given to them. And then they go out and they share with an abundance. They have an abundance of food to feed the people. As a matter of fact, they feed the 5,000, and afterwards there are 12 wicker baskets full of bread. Bring them to me. That's all we have to do. Sometimes life can be demanding of us. Sometimes our work can be demanding of us. Sometimes our families can be demanding of us. Sometimes we can be demanding of ourselves. And sometimes we just feel like we don't have enough to do it. We don't have enough energy or enough time or enough resources. And yet Jesus is saying, you can do it. Feed them. Take care of your family. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of your parents who are old. Feed them. But if we find ourselves getting frustrated, if we find ourselves getting tired, if we find ourselves getting spiritually burnt out, we're missing something. And what is that something? We got to bring it to Jesus. We got to bring whatever that situation is, whoever those people are, whatever the demands are, whatever our inadequacies are, whatever we think we can't do with the resources that we have, bring it to Jesus. It's that simple. If you're frustrated, if you're tired, if you're upset, it's probably because you're doing it alone. It's probably because you haven't brought it to Jesus. Because when we do bring whatever it is to Jesus, our littleness or our weakness or our smallness, and we bring it to Him, He does bless it and transform it. And before you know it, not only do we have enough to do whatever we're doing, but He gives us an abundance. And that's why we come to the Eucharist. You know, every Mass, the gifts are brought forward, the gifts of bread and wine. That's our presentation. So just like the feeding of the 5,000, Jesus said to the disciples, all you have are 5 loaves and 2 fish. I don't care. We're going to work with that. Bring it to me. And right now He says to you, whatever you have, if you feel like it's not enough, if you feel like you can't meet the demands of life, if you feel like you don't have everything that you need, bring it to me. Let me transform it and change it and multiply it. And before you know it, you're going to have far more than you ever could have imagined. And so that's what I want you to do is, in just a few moments, as the gifts of bread and wine are brought forward, I want you to try to imagine whatever your loaves and fish are, whatever the smallness that you have to work with. Maybe it's money. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough money right now in your life. Maybe it's energy. Maybe you're so tired. Maybe it's time. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough time or resources or friendship or emotional support or whatever it is that you don't feel that you have enough of. I just want you to imagine placing it with the bread and wine and letting it be brought to the Lord. And as the priest places it on the altar and transforms it, God's going to work a miracle in your life. He's going to change all of that into a great abundance. But you have to bring it to Him. You know, and just like the song, Lean on Me, you know, when there are times in life that we can't carry on, when we can't do it alone, we do have to lean on God and on each other. And so you're invited to do that in just a few moments. The offertory is not just about those 2 or 3 people that will bring forward the gifts. All of us lay our gifts at the offertory, our 5 loaves, our 2 fish, whatever it is that we need transformed into abundance. Place those with the gifts. Let them be brought to the altar. Bring them to Jesus. Then watch as He works a miracle in your life. And whatever you thought you didn't have enough of, all of a sudden there is going to be an abundance. And not only will you be satisfied, but all those that you're trying to take care of will be satisfied. That's the miracle of today's gospel, and that's the miracle that we receive in the Eucharist.